everybody. Hi, how you doing? How you keeping? How has your week been so far? I doubt that there is anything that can put me in a bad mood because this week to me has gone very, very well. Our faves are doing very well. I'm so happy for them. And the others are not keeping so well. Hey, Rafaela, let me say hello to the people in the comment section. Hey, Rafaela. Hey, Sam. Hey, Jennifer. Sharon. Marcia, how you doing? Hi, Louise. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Stevie. How you keeping? I hope you've been having a great week so far. My week has been fantastical. It's still cold in the UK, but the weather is getting a lot milder. Lot milder. We don't have that much to discuss today, so I hope we should be able to complete everything we have to discuss, perhaps between 30 to 40 minutes. So let's begin, shall we? So I saw this bit of news. Meghan is teaming up with Gina Davis' organization and an organization called Moms First US to raise awareness about the ways television depicts characters who are mothers. And all of this information is backed by data that they've gathered from programming across 2022. So what has happened is that Meghan, through Archewell, has funded some research projects where they did some research into how women and mothers are viewed on television and in movies. And it has produced a report which is titled Rewriting Motherhood, How TV Represents Moms and What We Want to See Next. According to the study, TV programming shows that TV moms remain underrepresented as earners and are still shown as largely young, white, and thin. I thought that was so very funny because it's so true, though. So it goes on to say the study shows that when a couple with kids under 18 had a clear breadwinner, the breadwinner is usually male, 86.5% of the time. Meghan is out here doing the work. So in her statement, Meghan explained, my past experience as an actress and now today as a producer and mother have amplified my belief in the critical importance of supporting women and moms both behind the lens and in front of it. This report about the portrayal of mothers in entertainment highlights the gaps we need to fill to achieve true representation in the content we create and consume. I am honored to support this work through the Archewell Foundation. Meghan had previously partnered with Moms First in 2021 when they lobbied for paid leave policies and pushed for reforms for the nation's broken child care system. Who remembers this campaign? And who also remembers the British media's reaction to this campaign, where they were complaining that Meghan was trying to get involved in politics? And Meghan just said, well, this is not politics, it's more of a human issue and a humanitarian issue, sorry. Anyway, so this is what this campaign is all about. The one with Gina Davis. Gina Davis is Hollywood royalty, is she not? Am I right? So she is a Hollywood veteran, and the association, I'm sure, benefits both of them. So it's great to see her still continuing in the work that she decided that she was going to be doing and the work that she had already told us that she wanted to do. Because, in summary, what the Gina Davis Foundation and the Moms First charity are striving to achieve is a more realistic representation of what the challenges of being a mother looks like on screen, given the amount of influence TV has on our culture. As Meghan says, representation of your situation matters. And you don't even realize how impacted we are by television and the media until you look at your habits. And then if you think about how you started doing those things which evolved into being habits, you realize that it's likely something you saw on TV or something you saw in a magazine somewhere. I remember when I was in uni, let me give you some tea about myself. So I remember when I was in uni, and all the time we would see these what do they call them? The posters, these large posters, billboards on the highways with the Marlboro Man. And somehow it just looks so cool. I promise you that when I was in uni, I started smoking because not altogether because of that, just because I was a little bit um I liked it at the time, and so I decided that I would go ahead to do it. But I have since stopped smoking. But it was one of the things, it was seen like something cool. So it's quite interesting that you have people who would pay attention to these kind of things because the way certain characters are portrayed on TV has to evolve, and you have to have a set of people who would think about evolving the way characters are written rather than just carrying on with the same way characters were written in the 30s, 40s, 60s, and the 2020s. Anyway, what's funny to me is that while the royal family is falling to pieces, Meghan is carrying on with her life, despite the fact that the smear campaign is in full force in the tiny island that is the United Kingdom. Yep, Meghan is totally ahead of her time, and she is doing the work that needs to be done. She's doing the work that needs to be done. She is definitely a child that was brought up with a conscience because it's just that things have changed in our time. Um, Her activist blood is still burning hot within her, and I love to see it because if you think about it, a lot of us grew up in a time where there was activism for one thing or the other, unlocking one right or the other, which we are all enjoying the benefits of today. And it just seems like it got to a point where I think maybe just for an example, when women thought that they had the right to vote and they thought, oh, okay, we've come to the end of all that we need to fight for. Whereas that's not true. I mean, for instance, we have this US election, which is looming over the entire world. And if there isn't anyone to do the activism to prevent the evils of society from overpowering the good, then definitely the world is going to fall into chaos. And Raffaella says, Princess Meghan, it is the best, so much royal. Exactly. That is the work that the royals are actually supposed to be doing. And when you go back into history books, a lot of the people who campaigned for the rights, some of the rights that we enjoy today, were actually senior members of the royal family or very rich people who could afford to do so. Because the thing is that a lot of people, you know, just getting involved in at the level that I am, following the news and following Harry and Meghan's story, it just makes you realize what it costs to stand up for something. And that is the reason why a lot of people would prefer to just pretend like nothing wrong is happening. And this is why you would find yourself in the position of a presenter on a channel like GB News, for instance. Even if the politics being discussed in GB News, you probably came in with some mild right wing ideas until you got in there and realized how extremely right wing they are in GB News. But because of your check, you decide that you would ignore the extremism and present the news or discuss the talking points as they are discussed on a platform like GB News. And the same thing with Talk TV. And they all look like they are shriveling up inside from the stress of holding in so much hate or being around so much hate in their own lives. Anyway, so it's good to see that Meghan is using her platform not just to live in comfort, but to actually do. I see this as something like doing the Lord's work. Honestly, I do. Because someone has to stand up, and I doubt if she would be able to be comfortable in her position if she was not doing this kind of work. It actually motivates everyone to do their own little bits. So this is one of the reasons why I'm here, using my voice towards their own cause. Anyway, so this is, I went onto the page of the the SXSW, which Meghan is going to be appearing alongside a group of other high-profile women in media and entertainment, where they will be discussing representation of women or uh, um, representation of in women of color in media and entertainment. The other high-profile women, as you've probably seen, are Katie Couric, Erin Haynes, Brooke Shields, Nancy Wan Yoon, and they are saying that the social media's omnipresence says, okay, so they say women's representation in media and entertainment has come a long way, but there's still so much to be done, especially for women of color and mothers. Social media's omnipresence has raised the stakes, creating an often dangerous environment, which has led to serious mental health issues for teenage girls in particular. So it's still very much on brand because it's a connection between issues related to women and then mental health as well. And Meghan is going to be presenting along with these Hollywood veterans, I would say. The session is going to be presented by the Actual Meghan for the Actual Foundation. The 19th is one of the platforms that Harry and Meghan supports through Actual. And then the National Nonprofit Newsroom reporting on gender, politics, and policy. So the networking is going a long way, and Harry and Meghan are just getting on with their lives. They're not connected to the mess of the British media or the British royal family. I have put the link to watch the live stream in the description box of this video. So if you want to, if you're looking for the link, it's right there and you can access it tomorrow when the session will be taking place. It's going to start from 1 p.m. It's going to be from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. It says CT, so I'm assuming that that is, what is that? Central Time, yeah. And so that's tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time. So if you can, go ahead Search for this video. The link is in the description box for you to access it. I think you have to register on the website to access the live stream. So you might want to complete the registration before the actual event tomorrow. Have a look anyway and see what you think. Let's discuss the mess coming from the royal family and the British media. It seems to me, am I right or am I wrong, that the British media and the royal family have gotten more desperate since the government approved the release of the Leveson 2 documents, because the mess coming from the UK since then has been off the scale. But before we get into the mess, I would like to take this time to thank everyone who subscribed to the new Sussex friendly channel I told you about on Tuesday. And also thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who just subscribed. As you know, we have a target of 3,000 subscribers by the end of March. So if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please go ahead to subscribe for the latest news. And one of my favorite things is to deep dive into the Sussexes court cases. So if that's your jam, please go ahead to subscribe. Also, if you're able to do so, please go ahead to donate to the channel through the super thanks and super sticker and whatever else avenues are available on YouTube. It just helps to keep the lights on while the channel is growing. So, as we were saying, now let's turn our attention to the mess coming from the royal family and the British media, who have gotten increasingly desperate since the government approved the release of the Leveson 2 document. It's my personal opinion that when the mystery surrounding Kate's illness escalated, the manager of the Kensington Palace War Room decided that they were going to introduce a wild card to suspend any further discussion around Kate's absence. And they thought, when they looked around, they thought, what can we do? What can we do? Okay, let's send Gary into the celebrity Big Brother house, especially since the usual suspects who have a large platform, aka Piers Morgan and Dan Wootton, have lost their platforms recently and their ability to impact the narrative from a large platform recently, right? So they decided, who can we send and what can we do to change the narrative? Because when the foolery from Kate's illness was escalating, all of a sudden a lot more people started to have a lot more sympathy for Harry and Meghan. They began to call, and there was speculation as to whether they should be invited back to the UK. And there were a lot more negative headlines coming from the public, coming from things that people were talking about regarding Kate's illnesses. They found themselves in a situation I doubt that they found themselves in before, where they had to explain and explain and explain and explain, almost literally taking away the mask that they wear in the form of sources to um, give an interview or a press briefing to explain Kate's mysterious illness. And they wanted to be able to hold on to that and do that. But then they said, who can we call? Who can we call to change the narrative? All right, let's send the family clown, shall we? Da-da-da! Gary Goldsmith. So he must have jumped at the opportunity because he was not in the house for 5 minutes before he started bashing Harry and Meghan. First, he said Harry and Meghan's titles should be taken away. Then he called. Did you see that? He said Harry and Meghan's titles should be taken away. And he must have really, really, I don't know how he fixed his face to say this, because it turns out that he has never even met Harry and Meghan. Everything that he has said about Harry and Meghan so far has been a second class account of what has happened. But then again, what is the character of the person that we're talking about, right? Exactly. So, what was the next thing he did? He had the audacity to call Meghan a stick in the spokes of royal family, a stick in the spokes of something. A stick in the spoke. It just speaks of something that doesn't belong. So he was trying to make the point that Meghan does not belong in the royal family. So was Harry supposed to marry Kate? I don't really understand. Was she supposed to have two husbands? Anyway, I think they know how ridiculous that sounded. And so even the media, you know, had to say, although they could not, they said, well, the Daily Mail said, but he has a point. The royal tricycle, once carrying laughter, camaraderie, and youthful energy, is now upside down in a ditch, wheels spinning, and mud splattered everywhere. Perhaps if you had welcomed Harry's wife the way Harry welcomed your wife, there would have been no upset of the tricycle. Rather, you would have had a full functioning, efficient car, right? Sussex Love says Harry was supposed to be happy being a third wheel with no family of his own. And I think I remember Harry. Oh, sorry, Sussex Love. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Thank you very much. I think I remember a point where Harry said so in Spare, where he was talking about um, that maybe it was Princess Diana who led him to Meghan. And William was also saying something like, if it doesn't happen for him, if he doesn't meet someone, that he has to be okay with that. That means that he was always never expected to settle down with his own family and have his own happiness. Anyway, Liz Jones, who seems to play both sides, she said, yes, Meghan was a stick in the spokes of the royal family, and Kate lost a close friend, but Harry had to grow up. Why they expected that Harry should not grow up is beyond me. Anyway, our dear uncle, the trailer trash of the moment, kept dropping one bombshell after the other. And knowing how this makes the UK look, I believe that they had Women's Aid put out this statement on Twitter. We are disappointed with the decision to include Gary Goldsmith in the Celebrity Big Brother house. Producers must consider how his appearance will impact women who have survived domestic abuse. Read our full statement here. I won't bore you with the statement. It was just some word salad put together to make it seem like they are interested in the case. That they are interested in domestic abuse as well. Uh, And also, they had refuge. Another charity. Refuge is appalled that ITV decided to include an individual with a conviction of domestic assault as the housemate in Celebrity Big Brother. Well, they knew this already. They knew it already, but they decided to go with it anyway because they needed him to pass a message. But so far, it seems like he's doing more damage than good. He's doing more harm than good being in the Big Brother house. Because what you're having now is even GB News is saying ITV Celebrity Big Brother viewers threaten to switch off as Gary Goldsmith keeps slagging off Harry and Meghan. And it looks like he might have confirms that Kate's mysterious illness is more serious than it has been reported to be. So now they want him off CBB stats. And as with every celebrity who is a cloud chasing skeletoria, Sharon Osbourne is said to have lashed out at Prince Harry and Meghan over mourning as popularity dwindles. So let me get this right. Sharon Osbourne went onto Celebrity Big Brother to moan about Harry and Meghan moaning. Oh, who's this? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Oh, I won't call out your name. Thank you for your cash app. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And so where was I? Yeah. Anyway, when the powers that be saw that that line of attack was not working too well, because every time Sharon said something, there's backlash. Every time Uncle Gary said something, there is backlash. Then they must have thought, quick, what do we do now? We know. Let's bring up something from 2012 to embarrass Harry. Look at the headline here. They said a model and filmmaker who partied with Prince Harry in Las Vegas when he stripped naked during a game of billiards has threatened to publish pictures of him on her OnlyFans page. They are both up for eviction on CBB. Really? Serves them right. Good. Good. They were just on the, I think, they've done what they were sent there to do, which is to spew out hate towards Harry and Meghan on a platform since they lost Piers Morgan and Dan Wootton. That's what I think anyway. I might be wrong. But about this story about the person who was threatening to publish pictures about Harry, the backlash to this person was immediate and the punishment was swift. So someone said on Twitter, the lady who tried to do PR for her OnlyFans account by claiming she would release nude pics of Prince Harry from 12 years ago has had her OnlyFans account suspended. Maybe threatening someone you don't know about releasing revenge porn wasn't the best idea. And not only that, her social medias, all of them were suspended. It looks like the public's response to this article was not what the media were expecting at all. People, which includes my humble self, said, go ahead. I dare you. I double dare you. Release these photographs. Release them now. In my personal opinion, I think Harry knew someone would try to blackmail him. This is the reason why he wrote about it in spare, so that no one has anything to blackmail him with. My goodness, what haven't they thrown at Harry and Meghan though? Anyway, at the end of the day, the page was suspended. And look at your comments. Yes, yeah, definitely. Sussex love. Sussex love asks, is it against the law to try to extort someone with revenge porn? Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is. Anyway, while we're talking about all of that, can you believe that the Ministry of Defense still has the audacity to keep campaigning for the opportunity to host the Invictus Games in 2027? Like, are they living in an alternate universe? Did they tell Kate's uncle that the UK were trying to secure the access to the Invictus Games? Or did they tell Sharon Osbourne that they were trying to secure the bids to host the Invictus Games? I'm not understanding how they're expecting this to come about, they're expecting it to be successful. They want to host the Invictus Games. Let me get this right. So they want to host the Invictus Games, right? And yet they deny Harry his security, take away his home, write hit piece after hit piece about himself and his wife. How do they think that this will work? How do they think it will work? Clearly, it's not going to work. Because if Invictus Games is coming to the UK, Harry will have to be here. And if he's going to be here, he has to have the level of security that he will be comfortable with, right? So how come? I don't understand. I really don't understand. I really do not understand how they're expecting this to work. Anyway, I think it's a battle between a lot of parties. This Harry and Meghan issue, it shows that there's a battle between the media, the royal family. Let's put this. Oh, first of all, I'm going to, before I ban you and delete your comment, I'm going to respond to you pro 1976. It was Harry's initiative from the beginning, okay? It was never something that William and Catherine started. And you're saying the client of the call girl, Meghan, not his charity. How miserable and pathetic are you? Anyway, go away with your miserable self now, okay? Anyway, so now that we have sprayed the troll spray and the troll is gone now, let me continue. So I think there is a battle going on between the media, the royal family, and the politicians who would rather cut off their nose now to spite their face than have anything to do with an international event which will promote the United Kingdom. Because even though the Ministry of Defense, so they know the value that the Invictus Games will bring to their veterans, they know the benefits that the Invictus Games will bring to the UK, but the media has got an agenda which is against what the politicians do and the Ministry of Defense do. So there is a clash there. And I don't know how they're going to resolve that. And I think it's going to make things a lot more difficult for them in the future if this continues to this extent. So you've got the Daily Mail who say fury as budget contains no defense spending rises. Fury as budget contains no defense spending rises but pledges 26 million to Prince Harry's Invictus Games as military expert warns if the armed forces are under-equipped, a lot more people will become eligible for those games. So now trying to scare people from participating in the games, from investing in the games, from bringing the games to the UK. Obviously, if the games are brought to the UK, then if Harry's expertise in handling the games, the good sides of Harry will shine in the UK as well, which they do not want because they want the narrative, the negative narrative that they have been streaming into the UK consciousness to continue. I don't know how successful they will be, but William is not helping because, all right, you don't want us to give it to Harry. Give us something. Give us an alternative. And he's not even paying attention to his own charities. This is the problem. You don't want it. You don't want somebody else to have it. Because here you've got William's charity, London Air Ambulance Charity, saying on Twitter, we are disappointed not to feature in today's budget, despite the extensive efforts of our supporters in and out of Parliament. In the absence of government support, we need the backing of the people and businesses of London now more than ever. Imagine that. Charlottesville. I must be getting really popular for me to be getting so many trolls today. Do you know how many I have gotten rid of? Okay, go away. Troll spray, go away. Anyway, so what I saw next was, meanwhile, the media are now saying the quiet bits out loud as the Tatler had earlier reported this headline. So, taking the reins, Prince William and the Queen will lead the royal family to celebrate Commonwealth Day, it's announced. Okay. So it looks like the invisible contract is wearing thin. Just before I move on, let me just look at your comments. It's kind of fun watching them freak out though. Yeah, they're just like animals, frothing white with anger, with hate. Anyway, so the invisible contract seems like it's wearing thin because I think the main thing, the whole contract is based on the royal family being able to protect the media from exposure, right? And most of the things they're afraid will get exposed are in those Levinson 2 documents. And if those Levinson 2 documents have been released to Harry to use in his case, then there's no need for the agreement anymore. So I think there must be a lot going on behind the scenes, which is giving William a headache now. Because the media seem to have gone rogue and they are turning on him, it seems like. Because they are saying the quiet bits out loud. Because here they're saying that the Daily Mail says that William has offered to help while King Charles recovers from his treatment from cancer, but his offer has not been accepted. And it says the long tradition of monarchs being very wary of their heirs continues. If they're in a, I would say they're in a bind, aren't they? They're in a serious bind. And the bind they're in is like a catch-22. So look at this. They cannot ask William to do anything without the supreme assurance that he will mess the engagement up. And yet they cannot ignore him altogether because he's heir to the throne. And there's no alternative. They drove out the spare. The rumblings behind the scenes must be loud enough for the headlines we are seeing on the screen right now, which is that had Prince William's nose be put out of joint by Queen Camilla deputizing for King Charles while he recovers from cancer, it just looks like William is just angry all the time and jealous of everybody. If he's not angry and jealous of Harry, he's angry with his stepmother. He's angry with his wife. Goodness knows who else he displays such rage towards. Stevie says, Isabella, hello there, just got back in. Welcome back. Welcome back. And Cookies and Cream says, if Harry were to bring the Invictus Games to the UK, the Unroyals and their racist minions will try to sabotage it. These people are beyond hateful, vindictive, pathetic, and jealous. It is so unfortunate, but I have to agree. And because you would think, what is more disappointing is that the people who are worse of all of what you just said, hateful, vindictive, pathetic, and jealous, are the older generation. The younger people seem to have have more sense than the older generation. Those ones just seem to be controlled by hate, and that is all. Hatred, racism, protecting their financial interests, and that is all. Hi, Vinny. Hi, is everyone? How are you doing? Marilyn says, I hope Harry never takes the games to the UK. Meghan will never be safe in that. Seems like you didn't finish your thoughts. Anyway, I'll continue. So while all of this is going on, as though King Charles hasn't got enough to think about, then you had someone saying, I think it was on Jeremy Vine, that King Charles did not have cancer. I thought, what? What? What do you mean? King Charles's statement, and I have zoomed it to the nth degree here so that we can all see it, right? It specifically says, during the king's recent hospital procedure for benign prostate enlargement, a separate issue of concern was noted. Okay, I got that. Subsequent diagnostic tests have identified a form of cancer. So this came from Buckingham Palace. So when Harold Malone says he doesn't have cancer, but I know what it is, I'm surprised that the outcry was not louder than what we saw, because that would have meant that she was trying to say to the public that King Charles had lied about his cancer diagnosis to the public. That would have shaken the foundations of the monarchy, as it were. Hi, Gwen. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Oop. Oh, wow. I have people responding to my call for donations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had someone just send me a cash app. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to call your name out but thank you very much. You know who you are. Thank you very much. So now they're trying to clean it all up with this article. Anyway, I tell you who's also on cleanup duty. Princess Anne. Princess Anne is now in Dubai, and you would think that they would tell you what she went to Dubai for, but nope, 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 nope. But it is clear that um, Princess Anne has gone to Dubai to clean up after Prince William's faux pas when he went over talking about um, the wanting to take on the resolution of peace in the Middle East. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Is there any wonder that they're not letting William anywhere near the throne or regent duties? It's no wonder. It is no wonder that they're not letting William anywhere near the throne. They're not letting William anywhere near the throne at all. Anyway, so everybody else in the royal family just seems to be struggling with keeping their head above, to struggling with their duties, struggling to remain professional. It just seems like Harry and Meghan were the workforces of the royal family. And now that the rest of them have to work, now that the rest of them have to work, they can't cope. It makes you wonder how much Harry and Meghan were doing. No wonder they were seen here, there, and everywhere when they were working members of the royal family. They were probably carrying out their duties and the duties of other members of the royal family. And they've been gracious enough not to talk about it. Uh, what did you say? Kamsa said, by the time this is over, see, we'll have to tell all cancer sufferers how he treated his own. So, British royal family will never be out of this. Well, they will just do some research and make something up. Who trusts anything coming out of the royal family? Do you? No. And SXSW says, I must admit, being in the allied health field, I thought the same thing. Why would he, who gets the best healthcare in the world, instead of conventional cancer treatment, opt for holistic care? Oh dear. Oh dear. Do you mean to tell me that that it is possible that this man would lie about a cancer diagnosis just for public sympathy? Oh my God. Oh my God. That would be the lowest of the low. That would be the lowest of the low. And I don't want to believe that how old is he now? 76-year-old man would lie about such a thing. So Kamsa says Kate Middleton is certainly not sick. All these are to distract from Piers Morgan naming them as a racist so that they wanted that to go away, along with Andrew's list of Epstein. Because, and it worked, didn't it? It worked. Anyway, you guys are right. Anything is possible. Anything is possible with those people. So what do we have? When you summarize everything, what do we have? While you have William crying about not being allowed to rule, the Sussexes are busy sowing their seeds in America, settling even deeper. I have to say, I'm so disappointed in the royal family. Do you know how they say the intelligence or the intelligence of an organization is as bright as its leadership? This has proven true in King Charles's reign. And it's such a shame that someone who has waited, let me say he has waited, how old was the queen when she died? Maybe about 30 good years before he had a chance to be king. You would have thought that he would have trained himself for the position. But he is so inept. The whole thing is in chaos. Because you cannot tell me that they did not know, if it is true that he had cancer. You cannot tell me that they did not know about the cancer diagnosis before even the coronation. I am willing to bet that if it is true that he had cancer, that they knew about it even before the cancer diagnosis. This is not something that just happens overnight. And they have access to the best medical treatment in the country. So, anyway, although there are lots of insignificant, smaller things to talk about, but I would rather keep my focus on what Harry and Meghan are doing. And at the moment, it's Meghan who's got something going on, which will be happening tomorrow. The link to the event, the live stream, the link to the live stream event is in the description box of this video. So I have checked the website out and I found out that you will need to register in order to be able to access the live stream. So don't forget to check out the link in my description box if you want to attend the live stream. Okay. That's all I have for today. On Saturday, we're going to be doing a roundup of any other royal news. And guess what? I think a quiz on archetypes. So the first episode, okay? We'll do a quiz on the first episode on archetypes playlists. And I'm going to be joined by the lady who runs the House of Sussex YouTube channel. And she's going to be doing a little pitch to introduce herself to us and her channel. So, if you are up for some quiz, join us on Saturday for the quiz, for the archetype quiz. And let's have a chat and let's have some fun with it. Okay? I think we should we should do like Harry and Meghan at this point, because they can't even get themselves together to put together a coherent narrative. They are just all over the place, throwing everything at the walls, just hoping and praying that something sticks, and nothing is sticking. So that's all I have for this evening. I hope you had a good time. Thank you to everyone who donated to the channel. Really grateful for your donations. And I will see you on Saturday. Thank you, Cookies and Cream. That is a good note to end the stream on. Everyone, please continue to pray for the Sussexes and each other. That is a good one. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to play us out now. Have a good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me.